It's Black Friday 2025. You're scrolling through your phone and suddenly you see it. Limited time offer. Only 12 hours left, 50% off. Everyone's buying it. Your heart rate actually increases, your thumb hovers over that buy button, and for a moment you forget that you didn't even want this product anyway. Here's what's happening in that moment. Your brain, this incredible 3-pound organ that can compose symphonies and solve complex equations, is being hijacked by a marketing team that understands your psychology better than you do. Today we're going to dive deep into why your brain is wired to fall for hype, how modern media exploits these ancient mental shortcuts, and most importantly, how you can outsmart these psychological triggers. Because once you understand the game, you can stop being played by it. Let's start with a fundamental truth about human psychology. Your brain is fundamentally wired for social connection and pattern recognition. From the moment we're born, we learn to survive by watching others and copying successful behaviors. This social learning is so powerful that it shapes how we think and make decisions for the rest of our lives. This creates what psychologists call a developmental mismatch. We're using social learning patterns that were useful in small, close-knit communities to make decisions in a massive, interconnected digital world. And nowhere is this more apparent than in how we respond to hype. Think about it from a developmental perspective. As children, we learn that following the group usually leads to good outcomes. When all the other kids line up for lunch, we learn to line up too. When everyone gets excited about a game or toy, we learn that excitement often signals something worthwhile. This pattern recognition served us well in smaller social groups where we could trust the judgment of people we knew personally. This is why the bandwagon effect exists. It's not a character flaw, it's a learned response that helped us navigate social situations successfully throughout our development. Let me break down the 3 main psychological mechanisms that make us vulnerable to hype. First, there's social proof. Robert Cialdini, in his groundbreaking research on influence, discovered that we use other people's behavior as a shortcut for determining what's correct. When we see crowds of people doing something, our brains assume it must be the right thing to do. This is why every advertisement shows happy people using their product. It's why streaming platforms show you what's trending. It's why social media platforms display like counts and follower numbers. They're not just sharing information, they're triggering your social proof instinct. Second, we have the availability heuristic. This cognitive bias, first identified by psychologist Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman, describes how we judge the probability of events based on how easily we can remember examples of them. Here's where it gets interesting for hype. The more you see something, the more important and common your brain thinks it is. This is why companies spend millions on advertising frequency. They're not just trying to inform you about their product, they're trying to hack your availability heuristic. Third, there's loss aversion. Kahneman and Tversky found that people feel losses about twice as strongly as equivalent gains. This is why limited time offers work so well. They're not selling you the product, they're selling you the fear of missing out on the deal. Now, let's talk about how modern media has weaponized these learned social patterns. Social media platforms aren't just connecting people. They're sophisticated behavioral modification systems designed to capture and monetize attention. Consider the infinite scroll. This isn't accidental design, it's based on B.F. Skinner's research on variable ratio reinforcement schedules. Just like slot machines, social media gives you unpredictable rewards, which creates the strongest possible addiction pattern. Every time you scroll, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine in anticipation of finding something interesting. This is the same neurochemical pathway involved in gambling addiction. Tech companies know this. They've hired neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists to make their platforms more addictive. Then there's the echo chamber effect. Algorithms show you content similar to what you've engaged with before. This creates confirmation bias on steroids. You start seeing the same opinions, the same product, the same trends repeated over and over until they feel like universal truths. Meta's internal research, revealed in 2021 and still relevant today, showed that their algorithms amplified divisive content because it generates more engagement. They discovered that anger and outrage are more viral than balanced, thoughtful content. This isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature. So, how do you protect yourself? Here are 4 evidence-based strategies that can help you outsmart these psychological triggers. Strategy 1. The 24-hour rule. Whenever you feel that sudden urge to buy something, join something, or believe something because of hype, impose a mandatory 24-hour waiting period. This simple delay allows your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, to catch up with your emotional responses. Research by behavioral economist Dan Ariely shows that this cooling-off period can reduce impulse purchases by up to 60%. The key is creating friction between the trigger and the response. Strategy 2. Diversify your information diet. Just like you wouldn't eat the same food every day, you shouldn't consume the same type of information every day. Actively seek out sources that challenge your existing beliefs. Subscribe to publications with different political leanings. Follow experts who disagree with each other. This isn't about being wishy-washy or having no opinions, it's about building intellectual immunity. When you're exposed to diverse viewpoints, you become less susceptible to any single source of manipulation. Strategy 3. Question the messenger's motives. Before accepting any hyped message, ask yourself, what does the messenger gain if I believe this? Are they selling something? Are they trying to influence my vote? Are they seeking attention or fame? This doesn't mean becoming paranoid or cynical, it means becoming discerning. As Warren Buffett wisely noted, it's only when the tide goes out that you learn who's been swimming naked. When the hype dies down, you can see who was actually providing value and who was just riding the wave. Strategy 4. Focus on fundamentals over trends. Instead of chasing every new trend, focus on timeless principles that have worked across different eras. In investing, this means focusing on companies with strong fundamentals rather than chasing hot stocks. In health, it means prioritizing sleep, nutrition, and exercise over the latest fad diet. In personal development, it means building consistent habits rather than looking for quick fixes. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." This ancient wisdom is more relevant than ever in our hype-driven world. When you focus on what you can control right now, you become less vulnerable to external manipulation. Simply being aware of these biases doesn't make you immune to them. This is called the bias blind spot. We can easily see these psychological triggers affecting other people, but we struggle to recognize them in ourselves. Research by psychologist Emily Pronin shows that people believe they're less susceptible to biases than the average person. This overconfidence can actually make us more vulnerable, not less. The solution isn't to trust yourself less, it's to trust your first instincts less and your second thoughts more. When you feel that rush of excitement about a new opportunity or trend, pause and ask, what would I think about this if it weren't being hyped? Ultimately, outsmarting hype isn't about becoming a pessimist or a contrarian for its own sake. It's about developing what I call a long-game mindset. This means making decisions based on long-term value rather than short-term excitement. Amazon's Jeff Bezos built one of the world's most valuable companies by consistently focusing on long-term customer satisfaction rather than short-term profits. While competitors chased quarterly earnings, Amazon invested in infrastructure and customer experience. The hype around other companies came and went, but Amazon's fundamental approach created lasting value. The same principle applies to your personal life. Instead of chasing the latest productivity hack, build sustainable systems. Instead of jumping on every investment trend, create a diversified portfolio based on solid research. Instead of following every self-improvement guru, focus on evidence-based practices that compound over time. Starting today, become a student of your own psychology. Notice when you feel that pull of hype. Pay attention to the physical sensations, the emotional reactions, the mental justifications. Keep a simple journal. When you feel excited about buying something, investing in something, or believing something because everyone else is doing it, write it down. Then wait 24 hours and revisit your notes. You'll start to see patterns in how hype affects you personally. Remember, the goal isn't to become immune to all influence. That's impossible and undesirable. The goal is to become more intentional about which influences you allow into your life and your decision-making process. We live in an attention economy, where your focus is the most valuable commodity. Every day, sophisticated systems are designed to capture that attention and direct it towards someone else's agenda. But here's the empowering truth. Once you understand how these systems work, you can choose whether to participate in them. You can learn to distinguish between genuine value and manufactured hype. You can develop the mental immunity to make decisions based on your own values and long-term interests. Your brain will always love hype. That's not going to change. But your response to that hype can evolve. You can become someone who thinks independently, decides deliberately, and acts intentionally. The question isn't whether you'll encounter hype. You will. The question is, will you be prepared for it when it comes?